I'll mute myself for now.
Okay. All right. What is up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in and joining. Welcome to Guy Aitchison's Reinventing the Tattoo Community, a place for tattooers, apprentices, collectors, and the curious to unite under all things art and tattoos. We encourage you to join in these live streams and real-world events where we offer a new option for connecting with each other to better your art, develop your skill set, and be with other like-minded people. If you're new to our community, you can find us beaming out nearly every day. We've evolved into a quality network of amazing live and on-demand tattoo and art shows that are expanding every day. I want to say thank you to everyone joining us on YouTube or Facebook, and a special thanks to those of you who are listening to this podcast. Our event schedule and notifications can be found in our official Reinventing the Tattoo community. To get there, search for and download Reinventing the Tattoo app found in both app stores, Apple and Google Play, or join us directly at community.reinventingthetattoo.com. All of these network shows, art jams, drawing groups, interviews, panels, and webinars can be enjoyed on demand and are stored in our library as well as our YouTube and podcast channels. If you're watching, let us know that our streams are working by tagging a friend who in the chat or letting us know where you're beaming in from. In fact, we're actually beaming out 5 channels 24/7. If you go to reinventing247.com, you can enter to win a goodie bag, see those 5 channels streaming all the time, and enter to win samples from Cheyenne cartridges, raw pigments, and D-Lies Pro. Now, if you're watching this, you may know that we have several weekly shows and drawing groups. Join us every Sunday afternoon at 1 for the Reinventing Drawing Group with Jason Lesser. Every Sunday at 9 p.m., we have the Tattoo Weekly with myself, Gabe Rickley, and Jake Meeks of the Fireside Tattoo Network. Monday evenings, we have our evening canon class with subscribers led by Guy Aitchison. This past month, we've been focusing on anatomy. If you'd like to join, subscribe to the canon at courses.reinventingthetattoo.com. Every Tuesday, right here, 10 a.m. with Ricardo Sturdivant for the Reinventing Drawing Group. Wednesdays at noon, we have the Tattoo Now show, and Thursdays at noon, the Tattoo Collecting podcast with Fawn Baker and Jordan Ruckus. Also on Thursday mornings, we have our subscribers exercises with Kier, where we focus on fundamentals, and apprentices are encouraged to join. There are other ways to support our show with upcoming pro development and on-demand shows. We've got awesome content from Andre Malcolm, BJ Betts, Bob Tyrell, and many others, and you can find these all at courses.reinventingthetattoo.com. Of course, we are very thankful to offer you this community for free. Thank you to many of our sponsors. We've got worldtattooevents.com. They are the largest, most comprehensive resource for tattoo events in the world. Lots of stuff is updating as conventions are rescheduling like crazy. I know just today that I saw 16 events canceled in the next few weeks around the world, which in comparison would be about 67 events that are happening. inkjetstencils.com, print stencils from your mobile or computer. Save your time, your hands, or your apprentice's hands, webinars, and free samples on their website. Of course, thank you to Raw Pigments, an ink company that is tapping into the source with acrylic-free pigments that have been impressing artists across the globe. You can find them at rawpigments.co. D-Lies Pro, known internationally as Dermalize Pro. Protect your art. If you are using saran wrap, watch videos of tattooers to see what it is all about at dermalizepro.com. Of course, thank you to Gabe Ripley of Tattoo Now, providing more than 25 years of technology for tattooers. And of course, the founder and inspiration behind Reinventing the Tattoo, Guy Aitchison. You can find his biomech encyclopedia, DVDs, machines, paintings, and more at guyaitchison.com. Of course, countless thanks to our affiliates, Fireside Tattoo Network, The Apprenticeship Diaries, and ecofriendlytattoosupplies.com. Guys, I just want to shout out some of our real world events that are upcoming. We have our Paradise BYOB in October. In November, we may or may not be traveling to Belgium for the Brussels Tattoo Convention, stuff happening with Nick Baxter, Ivana, and Gabe doing seminars and all sorts of stuff. Next May is Hell City in Columbus. Next July, the Rock River Tattoo Art Expo. And of course, next July, the Rubber City Tattoo Invitational with Tony Urbanic. And next October, the Paradise Tattoo Gathering. Those of you watching, we do welcome positive reviews on the channels and would love for you to follow us on YouTube. If you would like to host a Reinventing event or sponsor our community, just send us an email at management@reinventingthetattoo.com. Right now, I'm going to go ahead and jump off into the background. I'll have my browser open to read off comments, share references, or anything like that. So just let me know. Also, thank you to our growing crew of contributing artists, truly helping Reinventing reach more of the right people for the right reasons. Also, thank you for inspiring each other and everyone in our virtual Reinventing offices. All right, Ricardo, how are you doing today? I'm going to get my mean mug out of here. How is it going?
Pretty good. How about you, man? That's not too bad. I'm doing pretty good. I'm excited to be here today. That's unfortunate about some of the things that are happening with COVID, but what else are we gonna do? We just gotta kind of wait it out and see what happens, I guess, right? But, yeah, like Lauren was saying, we've been covering anatomy. Guy Etchison, Pierre Franklin, and myself hosting these classes and stuff like that has been quite the experience. It's been pretty fun. Anatomy is something that I've always been interested in, and I'm happy to share with you guys, like, the way that I approach it, the way that I perceive it, and just kind of share that stuff with you guys. But yeah, normally I would have a bunch of stuff to say, but today I think I'm just kind of, I don't know, feeling kind of like just in the moment right now. So I think we're gonna just jump in to some of the pictures that I've provided. I did provide them in the community group in Reinventing the Tattoo. So if you guys that are tuning in, if you're with us, I know I see Joe's in here with us today. If you guys want to jump on there, you can grab those pictures I put up there, and we'll go over some things together. But today we're going to focus on some hands. Last night in Guy Aitchison's drawing group, he did the figure as one of his finals for the anatomy course. And he had talked about doing some hands and stuff like that. So I thought, why not? Let's go for it. So I'm gonna share my screen here real quick with you guys. So give me a second. All right, so we got a couple pictures here. I just posted these this morning. So if you guys want to take a second, kind of make these a little bit bigger. If anybody that wants to screenshot these things, I'm gonna go ahead and just make them a little bit larger for now, and then we'll jump right into it. This is gonna be a fun one. So I think what we'll do is we'll do a couple quick warm-ups, talk about some of the simpler things that I see inside of these complex images, or what we perceive as complex images, and then we'll kind of go from there. And we'll jump into, I'm sorry, a little bit longer of a period of time for the drawing itself. If I seem a little off today, I'll be honest with you guys, it's because I am just a little bit off today. Yesterday was pretty impacting on me. I had a client of mine that I tattooed. We tattoo him once a year on an anniversary of a loss in his life, and it was pretty impacting yesterday. I've known him for a little while, and he kind of opened up to me a little bit more. So, and then in the morning before his appointment, I had a really great conversation with a guy that I haven't seen since high school, I think. No, actually, I've seen a couple times since then, but every time we run into each other, there's usually a pretty big gap in years, and it was pretty awesome to like feel like I was on the same wavelength as him. Very positive, very moving. So I think it was just getting me ready for that conversation that I had yesterday with my client. Very impacting. But so it's just kind of made me think a little bit, and I've been kind of in my head over the past few hours, last night, yesterday. So it's been pretty awesome. It's a wild thing to be able to feel both up and down at the same time sometimes, and I enjoy it. So I've just been embracing that moment. So let's just try to get zoomed in here, okay? But like I was saying a little bit ago, We got a couple quick sketches that we'll work through. I'll show you guys some simple shapes that I find in them, and we'll time it. We'll do like a couple, five-minute sketches, 3-minute sketches or so, and then we'll start jumping into some of these more complex ones and try to break in the values and stuff like that in it too. And let's see if we can't just make a little, quick study before we sign off today. I feel like a little bit more of a finished study. So some of the other ones that we'll be working with first are the simpler ones, just the straight hands without anything, with a handful of anything. So this is the first one. I thought that we would start with some pretty basic geometry. And what I've done is I've already kind of sketched out this tracing of it. I wanted to show you guys kind of some tricks that might help you break these down just a little bit more. So as you can see here, the first things that I do is I always look for the most simple shape that I can find. When I look at an image, what's the first thing that I see? Again, I always go to this like triangular kind of shape. And it doesn't always have to be straight edged either. It doesn't always have to be a straight linear triangle or anything like that. It doesn't have to be perfect like that. I try to find that contour and the way that the shape affects, the way the gravity is affecting the shape to kind of catch that life in it. And as you can see here, this parallel line here, let me get a different color. I'm looking at, I can't barely see it, so you guys gotta have a hard time seeing it too. Let's go with the teal. So it's not, there we go. All right. So if this is up and down, I always kind of imagine this line running through it. And then I always use these as anchor points. As far as the sense of the space, as far as the sense of the gravity, as far as the sense of like the character that might be in this image, this is exactly what it is that I try to pay attention to. It helps out because you're using these as anchor points. And you can start getting a better idea of these elements are relating to themselves in their own space. That would be the basic shape of it. I'll go back over these shapes here. So now, I think you guys are all pretty familiar with the hand. I would hope that you are. When you're looking at the hand from the top view and looking down at our own hand. Hello.
Jason has just joined us now.
Jason, what's up, dude? I was going to see this basic square. And of course, again, another triangle here. That meaty part of the thumb, backside of it. And I always try to make sure to keep the idea of the fingers, even though they might not be as thin or narrow as I'm drawing right now. I do that because I want to make sure to maintain this idea of this gap here. If you put them too close together, sometimes the eye can get complicated or the eye gets confused as far as what's going on in the image. And I always make sure to pay attention to this little gap here of the webbing of the fingers. And put a little bit more of an exaggerated kind of gap between both of those. Especially when it comes to tattooing. One of the things that we think about is the longevity of the tattoo and things being so close together. Sometimes eventually they'll get muddy. We all know that with lining, with lettering and stuff like that. So we try to maintain that space, the little gaps in between them. And I think we all know that we have 4 of these and 1 of these. But just try to remember that, and especially if you're tattooing. Oh, man. Wizards are magical and everything like that, but if they have 6 fingers, they're a little extra magical. You know what I mean?
Actually, Ricardo, just to jump in here real quick, did you know that it's actually a genetically dominant trait to have 6 fingers?
It's dominant trait.
Correct.
Wow, I didn't know that, but that's pretty good to know. So if I run into the 6-fingered man,
Which I have.
you have.
Yes, it was kind of creepy.
Okay. Why don't you tell us about this story that you have about a 6?
It was just like, so if you can imagine my hand, right? It was just like one little guy like hanging off the end,
Okay.
right? That he couldn't really move at all. It just kind of like every time he would move his hand, it would just kind of like wave around. It was like one of the freakiest things I had ever seen.
Oh man, dude, that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
I think I would end up just staring at that thing the entire time.
Yeah, it was really distracting.
But that's the dominant feature, though. So
It is genetically, that is a dominant trait.
yeah. Well, what do you know, man? I always thought
So.
I was in a movie.
No. I mean, Princess Bride, don't get me wrong. Yeah, love that movie, but
Yeah.
But no, it's actually genetically a dominant trait for us to have 6 fingers. So
It's incredible,
that's
man.
my random weird fact of the day.
Well, we can all realize and come to terms with the fact that it may be dominant, but there's a reason they're not around, because that 6-finger dude didn't make it anywhere.
Yeah.
Maybe. So
Yeah. Mhm. It's really hard for him to, and especially in the wintertime, I'm sure of it. He's got to get, one glove that's just a little bit bigger than the other one. It's like, can I buy a medium-sized glove and a large, please?
Yeah, no. I just need 1 finger from
Yeah.
the medium glove. Just 1.
Why did you bring your scissors and you're cutting these gloves up in the store, sir? Don't worry about it, man. You know what, though, dude? I always heard that the pinky was the one that was getting smaller with a few generations. So that's interesting that it's a dominating feature. You know what I mean? But Jason, I like your facts, your information that you brought into today. That's great.
Also, Ricardo, if you rotate your iPad so that it's landscape, it'll be able to fill up more of the screen. There you go.
There we go. Okay, cool. Thank you. Look at you, man. You're full of it today, dude. This is great.
Oh, I'm always full of it. Just depends on the day in which, what am I full of?
Fantastic Jason's. Fantastic.
I'm a magical creature.
Yeah.
Jason, I did see this morning, some of my sources overseas have sent me some statistics in Belgium that are concerning for our trip.
Yes.
So keep your eye on that for us.
I was actually talking to another artist last night as I had to drive a couple hours down to Maryland to drop off some prints I made for him. And I was talking to him about everything and how I think it was actually earlier this morning, or maybe it was yesterday morning, where the EU actually started to go through and put some more travel advisories up for different EU countries. Fortunately, from the article that I read, and I'll be happy to send you a link to it, Belgium was not one of the countries in the EU that was on the list for dramatic travel advisories. So where they are still recommending everyone that does travel overseas to get vaccinated, it's not one of the more concerning places as of right now. So
That's good to know. It'd still be cool to go to fucking Belgium, you know what I mean?
yeah, that's still on my list. And actually over the weekend, I think some of you might have known that I did that live stream with Rich Wren on Sunday. well, I started talking to him about it and how he's got all these different guest spots and travel lined up and stuff like that. And he invited me out to Deadly Tattoos up in Canada, where he's going to be guest spotting, so I could go up there and hang out with him up there. The earlier part of next year, he's also going to be heading down to Unkindness Tattoo.
Okay.
Might ring a bell. It's where Teresa Sharp works.
Nice.
So he's going to be heading down there to do a guest spot down there with them. So I might tag along with him for a little bit, go down, visit, maybe do some live streaming while I'm down there. Maybe see if Teresa has a few minutes to sit down and do some live stream Q&A stuff.
That'd be awesome, dude.
So yeah, I'm trying to get more live tattooing going. As a very wise person recently enlightened me to the fact that, you know, generally speaking, we get a lot more viewership when it comes down to like live tattooing.
Oh, okay.
Gee, I wonder who that could be.
That'd be you, Ricardo.
No, nope, wasn't Ricardo.
I didn't think so. I think that's somebody
She's
else.
one of my favorite people in the world.
Well, I will have to say your mom is a very smart woman. No, I'm just kidding. I think that that would be really cool. We do see a lot of stuff, but to kind of just reinforce the grandiose reason we're all together.
Yeah.
That's very insightful. Who is this person? We're gonna buy our coffee or something.
Yeah, I wish I had some way to like send her money, because I would definitely do that. Because I forget what the statistics said, but I know when I looked yesterday on the YouTubes, I know in like 24 hours it had gotten well over 100 views, which, you know, for some of the videos that we do, I thought was pretty impressive.
Jason, what were your thoughts from some of the ZBrush collab on Sunday evening? Did you get a chance to watch that?
So I did not get a chance to watch that
Oh, gosh.
just yet. The reason being is because over the past like 2 or 3 days, I've been going back and forth with my tax guy and health insurance and all this other stuff. I got a notice in the mail that my insurance was actually planning on dropping me, because I needed to file an extension for my taxes for this past year. And so I've been going back and forth with everyone, like, what is going on? What do I need to do? How do I get this taken care of? And it was an absolute mess and a huge nightmare.
Jeez.
So yeah. And as we all know, having health insurance is rather critical at this day and age. So, you know, it was definitely something that I wanted to get taken care of. But no, that is on my list of things. I have used ZBrush before, and it was absolutely incredible what you can do with that.
Mhm.
I mean, I know a lot of people that use it for 3D sculpting, 3D modeling, and you can make and design anything you can imagine with it, which is
Yeah.
pretty awesome.
And it seems like a great tool to collaborate on, like they were doing, because it's so easy to just expand on someone else's idea and build together. So I thought that was a great exercise.
Yeah.
Well, it's not easy, but it's very very cool.
It takes a little bit of getting used to. ZBrush and Blender are pretty in depth. It's almost kind of a shame that there's nothing like it for the iPad just yet. Not that I've found that really compares, and I do a lot of different like app testing. But I mean, there are 1 or 2 different like 3D sculpting programs for the iPad, but in my opinion, they can't hold a candle to ZBrush and Blender. So,
You know what? I started looking. There's a couple videos that I saw, or links that I haven't clicked on yet, about Blender being for an iPad, for iPad usage, on YouTube, I think.
really?
Yeah, supposedly, but I haven't clicked on it yet. I'll look into it today, and then I'll send you the link.
Please do.
Yeah, because that would be cool. Because I remember Coco and Gloria Coco was talking about the Blender app, and I started like typing it up, I was watching the video the whole time that we were online with Guy and Hoko and Adrian. And every time he mentioned anything, I was just opening up a new window and typing it right in. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
because I'm looking into that ZBrush application already, and I'm realizing that I'm gonna have to get like a different tablet and stuff for it too. Which is why I think I sent you a text and I was like asking you if you're still using your Wacom. How do you pronounce that, Jason?
Depending on where you are in the country, it's pronounced a little bit differently. On the East Coast, most people generally tend to pronounce it Wacom. It's the technical pronunciation is Wacom. That's just if you want to split hairs, though. But I mean, yes, I do still use mine quite frequently. Not so much for the bigger art projects that I've been working on, but lately I've been using it quite a bit more for like subtle graphic design. Some of the more finer points of just refining digital artwork. I find going back and forth between the iPad and then Photoshop is really, really beneficial, because Photoshop can hold much bigger files and can render in a much faster way than, trying to render something that's, super huge in size with a super high resolution, which Procreate won't actually allow you to do. If it's over a certain size or resolution, it'll start to cut down the number of layers. But if you're like me and you work with several hundred layers at a time, you need something that can kind of keep up with that. So
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I was noticing too, is that like I'm gonna have to get another computer.
well, not another computer. And actually, if you wanted recommendations on graphics tablets, I have quite a few. There have been some really, really great Wacom alternatives that have come out that are bigger and have the same amount of pressure sensitivity. They're ranked right up there with Wacom, although Wacom is still one of the leaders in multi-touch technology. A lot of the technology that Apple has was actually originally developed by Wacom. So they've always been the leader in graphic art technology. I mean, I do have a small little 12-inch guy that I'm no longer using. If you wanted that, you're more than welcome to have that. I'll put that in the mail tomorrow. I don't even think I've opened up that box in 4 or 5 years. So, I mean, it's an older model and it's a smaller screen, but it still works really well.
That's fine by me, man. I would love to check it out because, I definitely want to get into it. I did have a question for you, and I was gonna call you at some point in time and talk to you about this. But since we're here, let's go ahead and go for it and see what other people might think too. Um, given the incredible ability of us being able to jump on Google and type in skull, hands, female face, or whatever it is that we're going to use as a reference, it ends up being that a lot of people are using the same images. And I was sitting there watching these guys create these things, and I was realizing like some of the potential that it can be used for. And one of them was references of our own for painting and or tattooing. What do you think about that? Do you think that might be an inevitable and the kind of next step, or just another tool that somebody can use?
I think it's one of many other tools that can be used. And actually, I left it in the other room. Let me go grab my iPad real quick, because there are a few different apps that have come about for the iPad that they've really started to revolutionize things. And they've really started to go through and give us those options without having to sit down. Say you have someone that's working strictly on an iPad, right? And they don't have access to a laptop nor the funds to purchase one. There are several apps that can be downloaded for a minimal price that will allow them to go through and use different types of three-dimensional modeling in order to create their own references. So let me go grab that real quick. I will be right back.
While he's doing that, we'll just kind of sketch around here a little bit. Hopefully you guys are tuning in. Make sure and just send us some questions if you have some questions about what we're talking about. That conversation with Guy and those guys, that was amazing. couldn't get enough. You want to share your screen?
Well, I just hooked it up so you should be able to see my iPad screen now as my video.
Let me do this real quick. Let me get off here.
So if you spotlight me. There we go. Cool. So there's several different videos. And actually, there we go. Yay, picture in picture. There are several different apps that you can get that will allow you to create your own references. Handy is probably the most commonly used, where it's got different types of hands and feet, in different sets of, predetermined poses that you can move around. You can adjust the lighting on them. So if you wanted to go through, change the light source, you can add and subtract lights. You can change the light temperature and the color temperature. Here's this one. So you can change, as you'll notice, this back kind of reflective light on the backs of the fingers. You can switch that color. Maybe we want to switch this color tone and make this, we'll make this one more of a pink. So now if you look at the front of the fingers.
Yeah, okay, that's some pretty dynamic lighting there, man. That's awesome.
Right. So you can really play with like warms and cools and then positioning of lights. So we can go back to here. Then you can turn each one individually off if you want to. So it really does allow you can do cast shadows. Do you want to turn that on or off? Then you can rotate this around just to get the right light source. And then you can still play with it as far as like positioning goes into any direction you can imagine. And like I said, it's cool. It's got all different types of, hands, heads, props, under heads. You've got, different male and female models. You've got, basic skulls, flat planers. You've got all different types of things. You can even buy like animal skulls. They've got all different types of, just topological skulls. And that's just one of many apps, right? Yeah. If you wanted to get into something more nitty gritty, say you really wanted to start working on faces, you would go into something like Face Model. Face Model is an absolutely crazy app. Now, from here, not only can you go through and rotate a full 360 degrees, right? You can actually change every feature of the face. So if I wanted to have big bug eyes, and I wanted to move them up, make the irises huge.
Are you implementing this into any of your designs for your tattoos?
I don't typically do a whole lot of like actual character design. So I don't really, every now and then I'll use this and I'll implement it. But I don't really get too much use out of it.
Yeah.
You can adjust down to the eyelids. The mouth, you can make the mouth any size you want. You can adjust the creature. So maybe you wanted more of an alien, right?
Yeah, and you can, you can rotate it and everything. Wow. Pretty cool.
Take me to your leader.
Give me a call.
Yeah. So this is just another one. You can also adjust, it will allow you to adjust the jaw as well. So that's pretty cool, and that can come in real handy. Then you get into more of like the posing aspects, and that's where I'll go into something like Art Pose Pro, where they have both male and female options. So if I wanted to go through and create, or I think the Pro is actually with both, where you can add more than one character. The cool thing about this app is that you can actually go through and you can adjust, body types and styles. You can switch it down to a muscular view. So if you wanted to go through and kind of zoom in and say, okay, what kind of like angle do I want this guy to be at, right?
Yeah.
Where are those muscles going to be? How is that going to affect the different types of, the different types of angles that I can use? You can do almost like a plane model kind of view. It's pretty cool. You've got different ways that you can pose it. So each and every joint can be individually posed, for whatever pose you want it to be. Stand on one foot, right? Now, touch your nose with your hand.
Is this some kind of sobriety test?
Exactly. Sometimes getting the positioning right can be a little tricky, but
yeah, it's a little touch sensitive, that program is, for sure.
yeah.
Like it kind of like picks up some other areas that you might be not touching, but hovering over, so that makes it kind of frustrating. But so as long as you can get over that, but that's not that big of a deal, really.
Ricardo, I just want to mention that you are really low. Your volume is low. I'm not sure if it's like that for anybody watching. Just want to let you know.
Can you hear me a little bit better now?
Yep, a little bit.
Okay, cool. Sorry. Yeah, I can't find my headphones, so here I am.
You lost your magic headphones?
Yes, I've been traveling a lot, so I think I might have lost them in one of the travels somewhere. I think I might have left them behind somewhere. Hotel room.
Let's build those abs.
Get that muscle in.
This became a toy real quick, didn't it?
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to be all quiet in the background. Couldn't do it anymore. Couldn't do
I
it.
like to have fun.
Jump
What's
in.
wrong with that?
Oh, shoot.
You've got some really cool like things that you can do. They have different like panoramics. You can go through and take screenshots of everything as well. You can add facial hair, which is pretty cool, and age them.
Oh, that's nice. That's cool.
So it's got a whole bunch of different things that you can adjust and alter. And there's even certain preset, I think there's a way to get certain preset poses already in here. And I just need to figure out where that goes. Maybe that's in the other one. So here's some objects if you wanted to throw in some different objects: swords, boxing gloves, shields, canes, axes, all types of stuff, man. They've got all types of props you can put in. Here's the preset poses. So say you were doing like a superhero pose, right? Or maybe you wanted to go like full on Matrix style. Maybe you wanted something a little bit more like, football or someone running, and they've got all different types, man, all different types. Dancing poses and like yoga poses and you name it, man. They've got everything in here. And you can adjust each individual aspect of all of these preset poses to make it be exactly what you're looking for. It's really incredible what you can do. And this is one of 3 different apps like this. So they have Art Pose Pro, Art Pose Female, and Art Pose Male. Skelly's another good one. This one was meant more for anatomical reference. If it'll actually open, I think I need to update it. Just probably why. But yeah, usually between those and face model, you can get every kind of reference you could ever need for like a human being. It's where you start to get into 3-dimensional sculpting that things get a little bit more interesting. Like creating 3-dimensional environments, that's where things get a little bit more tricky. So
Intriguing.
Ricardo, we can't hear you anymore. Now we can.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
All right. That's at max volume. Let's see what we can do.
We can hear you.
Cool. How's everybody doing today?
Pretty
Good.
good.
Let's see here, Jason.
Oh, that's wicked,
Whoa, that's crazy, man.
right?
I've got all sorts of little fun toys.
Fractals going on there. Look at that.
Pretty much, yeah. And they're customizable to an extent.
That's cool.
Octahedrons.
Whoa. You know, if you wanted to, you could probably take a screenshot of that sometimes and just like lay it into a design somehow.
Oh yeah.
Right. Get some geometrics in there.
The icosahedrons are cool. Something like that could make for like a really cool like centerpiece to like a nice bioorganic, you know, kind of form or tattoo.
Yeah.
You know, but it allows you to go through and like adjust different aspects of the actual fractal.
Pretty incredible, dude.
Yeah, that's pretty neat, dude.
This is what I get for trolling the Apple App Store, you know, at 3 a.m. Being like, I'm going to type in 3D and see what pops up. I just like to sit back and watch this sometimes.
That's what I was gonna say. It sounds like a screensaver sometimes, isn't it?
It is set up on a it is set up on like an actual animated pattern. So it's going to keep going back through and forming, evolving and devolving at a consistent pace, which is pretty cool. So like if you wanted it to really be, you know, or catch it at just a right way, you could definitely do that. Yeah, it's just another one of the fun toys that I have that I like to play with in my spare time. Yeah, and like I said, there's all kinds of different ones. There's spheres.
One of these days, somebody will make a disco ball like that.
Like, dude, just
All crazy.
look at that. Look at that.
It's a free app.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't really give you the opportunity to go through and like adjust the lighting or the light source or anything like that, but
No, but it's still kind of mesmerizing just to play with the, you know, the effects of what is there.
imagine if you were on certain types of hallucinogens while you're looking at this, right?
Types of pizza toppings.
Yeah.
They also go really well in hoagies, by the way.
Yeah, for sure. There's a documentary on Netflix, Fantastic Fungi.
Mm-hmm.
You guys check that out, man, if you get a chance. It's pretty good.
You can slow the animation speed down so that it doesn't go quite as fast.
Look at that. That's incredible. Are you ready for Philly, Jason?
No, not in the least bit.
Me neither, man.
Like I'm not even gonna kid you. I'm probably gonna be so unprepared for it. It's ridiculous.
What? So just to let everybody know that Jason's unprepared is going to be like 10 steps further prepared than my unprepared.
Why? Because I actually remember my necessities.
Yes.
Oh, that
remember
sounds like a
them.
burn right there. Dang.
I them whenever I get them. I'm just going to pick them up.
No, Ricardo shows up. He's got like a single change of clothes, like
Yeah.
3 cartridges and a bottle of black and his machine, and that's all. Right? He's like, I'm ready, guys. Let's do this.
We're gonna MacGyver this together. Let's do this. Come on, guys.
4 rolls of duct tape later, I think we finally figured out how to get him through a show. I'm not trying to make fun of you, Ricardo. You actually do show up with like everything that you need and nothing more, which is awesome.
Jason, we had a amazing moment in Texas where I really needed a cord for the microphone. And who pulled it out of his wizard hat?
Ricardo.
Yeah.
You're taking notes, aren't you, Ricardo?
Extra cords on it too, man. I was just like, I think I got it. And I was just waiting for me to open up the bag and be like, I don't have it. Sorry. But no, it was there. Yeah, it was crazy. I was like, Jason would be so proud of me right now.
I would have been very proud of you, Ricardo.
I was gonna be proud of me right now.
Yeah. It's funny, Lauren, because in Gettysburg, when we were out in Gettysburg, he was like, oh man, yo, do you have, and I'm like, yeah, I do. I'm like, just take what you need, man. Take what you need.
It happens to the best
That's
of
what's
us.
awesome about working shows with friends, right? When you work a show with someone that you know that you really, know really well, it's like, yeah, dude, like whatever you need, just grab it. It's not really a big deal. It's, as long as it's not my soul that you're trying to steal, like, not that you would want that anyway, but hypothetically speaking, it's one of those situations where it's like, yeah, like what I have is also yours. So grab what you need.
Mm-hmm.
If I need it back, I'll let you know, but I doubt I will. So it's like, you go do what you do. You grab whatever you need in order for you to be successful. I'm going to do the same. Like if I notice you have something that I need to grab, like maybe it's a bag for my machine that I forgot to bring, or maybe it's we split a box of gloves or something like that. Fine, whatever. It's like, all right, cool. I'll ask you, hey, do you want to split a box? I forgot to bring mine. If you offer up yours, it's like, oh yeah, I'll just use yours. Cool.
Yeah.
But that's called teamwork, right? That's what that is.
Yeah. It's not just teamwork. That's fucking teamwork.
That's fucking teamwork.
Before the dish, man. Yeah. So yeah, dude, I agree with you, Jason. It was a fun time, and yeah, I actually came through with that cord. It was pretty awesome.
I'm very, very proud of you, Ricardo. Very proud.
Now I just gotta find my GD headphones. So
yeah, make sure they're the wired ones. Those work the best.
Yeah, dude, your camera looks great. Camera looks great, man. You got a new
Are you
setup?
sure it's the camera and not the person on the camera?
I would say yes.
You're so vain.
Okay, yes.
No, so I actually got my I was on Facebook Marketplace and I found someone selling a Nikon D3200 for like $200, and I was like, okay, yeah, mine right now, like, yes. So, and it turns out that the D3200 actually outputs pure clean HDMI out at 24 megapixels, which is like 4K resolution.
Yeah.
And I've got that going through my switcher, and Yeah, it's actually kind of crazy because if I turn on my Canon as well, let's see if I can get that going.
Oh yeah, look at that. What do you know?
Yeah. I just got to go through. I hacked my Canon lately, and I think I need. No, it's one of these buttons back here.
He's gone to plaid.
Dude, I'm constantly at plaid. What are you talking about?
There you are. All right.
Yeah, I have to clear off all the overlays and stuff, but
Yeah. You have autofocus on it now. Is that what's going on?
yeah, pretty much.
Well, that's pretty cool that you're gonna be going out there with Rich, man. That's that'll be
Yeah,
fun.
it's still I'm still trying to figure that out. As I mentioned to you the other day, I actually have an opportunity. I was talking to another very prominent, very well-known tattoo artist about going to Japan lately. I'm not really going to bring up his name, but he has gone there plenty of times before, and we were talking about possibly getting together a trip to go to Japan, like a guided trip. Or he was just going to give me some recommendations on where to go and what to see. But I would like to get over to Japan next year as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That's another one of those bucket list kind of places, isn't it? I know that for me for sure, man. Like I have to
what?
go sometime.
Well, I mean, it can be on your bucket list, but just remember this: if it's something you really want to do, you'll find a way to do it.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. That's what I'm
You
saying.
know,
Like,
and just because you go once doesn't mean you can't go back multiple times.
right.
You know,
Totally.
I've been to Italy twice, London a handful of times, you know, Ireland, France, like all over, dude. But I always try to hit each place more than one time because there's always so much more to see.
Mhm.
So, I mean,
Very good.
like I said, I always try to get back multiple times, you know, regardless of what's going on, where and when. It's, you can never go wrong with visiting a place more than once.
Yeah, that's fucking awesome. Well, good luck on those travels, and I hope it works out with Rich, dude. That'd be great to see for everybody.
Yeah.
It'd be an experience for you, and very awesome for us all to be able to tune in.
Well, as we were talking, it was like, well, if you come up with me and you get tattooed by Chris Dunn while you're there, which I've been trying to get tattooed by him for a while.
Yeah.
He's like, we'll get you on camera while you're crying, and then I'll get my back worked on by James, and then you can get me on camera as I'm crying. And like it'll just be like one big circle of like everyone on camera crying at some point in time.
I think if you took 2 days in a row, you know, for that cover up that you had done on your leg by Guy, I think you got this, man. I think you're okay.
Yeah, but I'm gonna be getting my stomach done.
Oof.
Oh,
Oof.
Well, technically,
Ooh.
it's only half of my stomach, but
yeah,
half
but
of my stomach
still.
down onto the top of my thigh.
So you're getting the tattoo of a train with a banner that says pain on it.
Well, yeah. Who doesn't want to ride the pain train?
The pain train. Yeah, man, that's cool, dude.
Guys,
So
I know that we're gonna get jumping in, but the other day I was getting tattooed, or the other week I was being tattooed, and then a couple, maybe the same day or the next day I was being lasered. So both painful situations, but in the laser situation, I was talking to someone the whole time. The pain was absolutely incomparable with a
Yeah.
direct relation, because in the other one I was using myself, my own mind, to escape from the pain, and in the second situation with the laser I was using someone else to escape from the pain. So Jason, yeah, keep that in mind.
See, I always like to I go into sensory deprivation mode usually whenever I'm getting tattooed, and I'll block out everything else around me and just start focusing on my breathing and put my mind somewhere else. And, you know, I'll sit for, well, that, and I take a whole bunch of Advil. So that usually helps.
Yeah.
The advent does help, believe it or not. Like I actually did that with Guy too, man. And that definitely, I was surprisingly shocked by it. Like, wow, this.
Yeah, it really helps take the edge off.
Yeah, it does, man. It's pretty incredible. Yeah,
So
yeah, I do the same
I
thing.
do that and I'll sit. I sat for 3.5 hours on my sternum. Like, I don't know how well you'll be able to see it, but like I have most of my chest done. And
Dang.
I got this really nice heart
Wow.
done in the middle of my chest.
Nice.
And the last time it was gone over was like 3.5 hours, and you just sit down and zone out. And, you know, it's like, all right, just tap me when it's break time or whenever we're done. And, you know, you just scoot through it, throw in some headphones, put on some classical music or something that you can just like tune the world out with. And I'm good. Like but after getting like your entire side panel done, you know, which involves multiple trips of, you know, 4 to 6 hours at a shot, you know, and that you learn a few tricks to go through and really help manage the pain in your own mind.
Mhm.
You know, some people need that external distraction, and that's totally fine. Like if that's how you deal with it, that's awesome. But me, I like to go inside my own head. I also don't like to be around a whole lot of people that I know unless they're like other tattooers because they get it. Just because anytime I have someone around me that is more just like a friend, I feel some type of an obligation to be entertaining in a way or to engage with them when I
Yeah,
really
dude.
just want to like go inside myself and just hide. So
Yeah.
Right.
it creates
that-
like a little bit of a conflict.
That's exactly it. Like you kind of have that, you feel that obligation kind of weighing down on you, right? Like you have to entertain them and stuff like that because they're
Correct.
hanging out with you, especially if you haven't seen them for a while or something like that. It's like the worst thing you can do is let's go hang out at the shop while I get tattooed. Like, no, dude. Just
No,
here and
don't.
see me done,
No,
man.
that's a hard no.
Yeah,
You just
exactly.
no. You stay here. I'm gonna go get tattooed.
Yeah. You know, I got the laser surgery done down in Texas as well. Like I think I went a few people after Lauren did, but the work that I got done was minimal in comparison to hers. So um, mine's doing pretty good. It's lightened up quite a bit, believe it or not. How about yours, Lauren? Did yours take pretty well?
Not on the forearm as much, but definitely on that the piece, because they were using a cool black, and the blacks didn't disappear as much as I believe dynamic was came out pretty well, if that's what it was. I
Right.
could show you a comparison on here in just a second.
Yeah, it was.
It was an interesting process. It definitely took out the black more on my the inside of my arm. So
Mhm.
before anything happens, I'd like to hit the rest of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I got tattooed by a guy, and we talked about doing the rest of my arm. He's like, "Yeah, get that other stuff, hit that up with some lasers, and then we'll talk." I was like, "All right, man." But it was cool because like we worked on when they did the lasers, we just worked on the black work. I guess there's separate lasers for color and such like that. You know what I mean? So that was pretty interesting talking to him about that. And you heard a lot of people talking about the way it feels. Everybody's always asking you what it feels like. That whole bacon thing, I'm not really sure about the bacon grease popping on you thing, but the rubber band kind of snapping on you, I could definitely feel that as like a little pop, 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 pop. But it was so fast, you know what I mean? That by the time you got used to it, it was already over. Have you guys had it done, Jason, Joe, Faith? Oh, there you go, Lauren. Let's pin you real quick.
No, you have to
I
spot
think,
later.
yeah,
Pin
it
it
is,
when
right?
you pin someone. It only pins them for you. It doesn't pin them
Okay,
for. Oh yeah, there we go.
she got it. Okay, cool.
Oh, I see. All right.
Yeah, I think turn mics off.
Okay. Yeah, I see it.
Yeah, yeah, you can definitely see that.
Mhm.
Wow, it's incredible.
Oh,
You got a lot done that day.
It looks like it. That's
Yeah.
a lot of area.
Yeah. It lightened it up quite a bit.
And that was just one session too, right?
It's one session, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, the guys that did it was pretty cool. Yeah, that's the tattoo she got down there.
Oh, hell yeah.
It's super solid, dude.
It's a little bit out of focus right now, but we get the idea.
Yeah.
Right, right. We can see past the blurriness.
Yeah. There we go.
For a split second.
Almost.
Almost at it.
Yeah, autofocus is crazy.
It is, isn't it?
Auto anything, auto correct, auto focus, just leave it alone.
Something about David Carradine and something to do with auto. Never mind.
I don't know. We'll leave that one there.
Yeah, I'm just gonna leave that there.
Oh my God.
How about
I
you
had
guys?
I had to. I'm
It's
sorry.
there, man.
I should
No.
never have brought that up. I just thought it was fun.
I just.
All right, guys,
oh,
I do
man.
want to also say hi to Faith. She dropped in and out.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
So,
we have class.
Yo, what's up, Faith?
Hey,
Go.
what up?
yeah, I was on my phone. I couldn't hear earlier, so I switched.
Oh, okay. Can you
Yeah.
flip? Well, I don't know if it would work, but if you flip your camera the other way.
If I flip it, then I can't really have it held up.
Oh,
like
okay,
that.
gotcha.
That's the only reason. But I'm trying to do a block print that I carved last night. I'm trying to fix it, but it's the lowest flower. Yeah,
Awesome.
that one.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay.
Yeah. And like it makes a frame. I haven't done one in a long time. I'm not sure how to line them up. I think I was supposed to do that while carving. So I'm not really sure.
I think if you were to able to set them on top of each other somehow, maybe punch a hole through both of them.
Make like a reference mark. Yeah, I got it. That's the only part I haven't really figured out yet. But I was gonna try and eyeball it and see if I could pull it off before I go to work.
Another way you could do it is lay a piece of tracing paper over top of it, do a graphite rubbing.
Oh yeah, look at that. Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then you can use that to align it with the other plate.
I got you. I think I'm supposed to have like this thing in the corner that I put them both against or something. I don't remember
Yeah.
what it's called. I don't remember. I watched it right before I bought all this stuff, but I figured I'd cross this bridge when I got to it, but now I'm at it. Wish I planned ahead.
Yeah,
That's,
that reminds me a lot of the copper plate prints I did when I was in school.
I haven't done this in like 20 years, so I'm trying to figure it out. I'm struggling to make art, so I tried switching mediums.
Oh, that's a good idea. Kind of mix it up and get some inspiration from somewhere else.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's kind of like that every ninja movie you see where he's like wax on, wax off. He's like, I'm trying to,
Yeah. Like, all you've had me doing is fixing your yard, painting your fence, cleaning your
Exactly.
car. He's like, Danielson, wax off, wax on. Oh, you fucking master. I love that movie. That's such a good movie.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a classic.
Yeah, dude, big time. Well, that's cool, Faith.
Ryan,
Jason, you mentioned doing copper plating, like
Copper plate prints, yeah.
plate prints. Did you guys use chemicals to kind of etch that material, or were there tools that you used, or both?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah, it's let me grab them real quick. They're I probably wasn't supposed to keep them, but I did anyway because I like them.
Why not?
Yeah.
Dude,
Well, I mean, I figured I was paying for the copper. Why not?
why not, dude? You're like a movie star on a movie set that takes the props and stuff, and like,
Right.
man, Jason took the props again.
A lot of actors, believe it or not, will actually have that as part of their contract. That they get to keep like one or two props from every movie that they do.
I would love that. That'd be awesome.
So here are a few different plates that I made. Actually, this is one that I have yet to get to. So this is how they used to start out, which is basically just like a plain blank, smooth piece of copper
Yeah.
with like some nice beveled edging. And I don't think you can really see that unless I like adjust the focus. So it's got a little bit of a bevel on the edge. And these are just, you know, small little 16th inch thick plates. You can tell that the back has a piece of like sticky paper on it. And what that does is that protects the back for when you go through and do acid etching. This is a bearded iris that I did as part acid etching, part dry point,
Oh, cool, man. That
Oh,
looks
that's
awesome.
cool.
right? So, and you can still see some of the ink. I didn't really wash the plate off too well when I was done, but all of the black parts that you see, that's actually still some of the printing ink that's left in those deep
Hmm.
grooves.
Now, does that
Okay.
is that supposed to get cleaned out, or is it good to have it stick around? How does it work?
Probably. I mean, I wouldn't be able to go through and run another one of these prints unless like with a different color. Say I wanted to print it in like a violet purple. I wouldn't be able to do that until all of the black in this was completely cleaned out.
Mm.
You know, because that would just stain the that would stain everything. As a contrast, this is a plate that I did in nothing but dry point.
I see. Okay.
So it's much softer, much more smooth, and you
Yeah.
can barely even see some of the scratches that are on it.
Now,
But in order to create the value, you basically scratch it and score it
mhm.
in order to create tiny little ridge lines to hold the ink.
Hmm.
And then as you run this through the press, what you do is you lay your copper plate down, which is completely covered with ink. Then you lay a piece of paper over top of it that's soaked in water.
Mhm.
Then you would run it through your printing press. And the printing press is basically a super smooth, heavyweight drum that's calibrated to exert the exact same amount of pressure on each side. So you get a smooth, even print.
Mhm.
And as you go through, a lot of the printing ink is oil-based. It's not water-based. So that as you go through and press that paper down over top of this copper plate, the
Okay.
oil is going to stick and force that water out to the sides. And that's going to allow just the areas that have been etched to go through and actually transfer that ink. And like I said, this one was done with purely dry point. I did a few others as well that were this one was also purely dry point. Another little bearded iris. And I have some others that I did that I acid etched. And acid etching is like, it's a little bit more of an involved process. But you can get some really interesting effects if you know what you're doing. But yeah, part of this guy was acid etched using a specific type of chemical that's designed to eat away at copper and copper alloys. And I mean, you can order it you can order the chemical readily offline. And the reason why a lot more people don't really get into printmaking is because it's not exactly the chemicals, it's not exactly the materials or anything like that that's expensive. It's the actual printing presses themselves that are insanely expensive. I mean, the printing presses we used to use at school were they were like 150 years old, and they were something like $50,000 each.
That's all.
Crazy, dude. Crazy. But you're producing some pretty cool looking artwork with it and some really refined looking stuff, man. So I mean,
And you can go through and I can make as many of these prints as I want. And they actually depreciate in value the more prints you run, because the more you print, the smoother that plate will get and the less defined it will be. That's why if you look at a lot of Rembrandt's old prints, actually, I think it was Rembrandt, maybe it was someone else that did a lot of like dry point prints. The lower the number, the higher the value, because the clearer the image will be.
yeah. That's killer. That's fucking awesome, dude. That's so cool that you got all that background and all that stuff, man. Like you've had a lot of experience in a lot of different things, you know what I mean? Like you did a lot of computer work, you've done a lot of artwork, like hands-on stuff like that too, man. And it definitely shows through in some of your other work and some of your other approaches with your designs and shit. And also with all of your knowledge in Procreate, dude. It's extensive for sure.
Well, it's one of those situations where I've been fortunate enough to have had a lot of different unique experiences in my life. And I try to take all of those individualized experiences and, share that knowledge with other people,
Yeah.
and sometimes it helps, sometimes it doesn't. But, a lot of the experience I have working with different mediums, just like Faith was saying, sometimes when you really hit that wall where, you're just really not feeling inspired and you're just really feeling like stuck in a rut and just not really creative or anything like that, go through, pick up a different medium. You would be absolutely surprised at how it will just instantly hit that creative gene again, and you'll take off running, right? Because now it's something new and fun that you've never done before. So yeah, give it a shot, right? If I wanted to spark that creative gene in myself, I'd go out and buy a new set of oil paints and I'd start oil painting again, because I haven't done that in 15 years,
Yeah.
I haven't gone through and worked with soft pastels in 15 years. I haven't, there's so many other mediums out there I've yet to try, like a lot of the acoustic pouring mediums. I think that would be a blast, right? So when the next time I hit, one of those ruts, I'm going to go back through and I'm going to pick up a different medium and I'm going to use that for a month, see how that, charges that creative juice. And then maybe I'll go back to working with acrylics or watercolor or whatever medium I'm working with at the time. It's just a really great way to go through and just really recharge yourself creatively. And if the next time you're out here, you want to sit down and go through and work on some copper plate prints, I might still be able to get us access to the Tyler School of Art building so that we can go through and actually run some copper plate prints if you were interested in that.
Absolutely, dude. I'd love to see it. I'd love to see the equipment. I'd love to see the area, and I'd love to work on something like that with you for sure. Especially something that I've never done. That I mean, it'd be fun to learn. So
Yeah, it's very, 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 very process oriented.
okay.
So like if you don't follow the right steps and you don't go through that process, the print's not going to come out right.
Right.
It's a very delicate balance, for example, with copper plate prints, of going through and creating mirror smooth like areas next to very deeply etched areas, next to areas that just barely have any kind of a burr on them. There's a very, very delicate balance there that you need to have that full range of super smooth to super, super rough in order to get a full value range when you print. Because a lot of times when you print, you're only using one color.
Yeah.
So how do you create that kind of a value if you're working monochromatically? So there's ways to manipulate the surfaces, but it's literally a process oriented situation.
Yeah.
I actually developed a way when I wonder how easily accessible those are. Might still have those easily accessible, but I actually came up with a new way to do prints while I was down in school that my professor, who's been a master printmaker for 30 some odd years, never even considered. And I might be able to pull those out rather quickly, maybe not. No, I think those are in another portfolio. Forget which one though. Got like 8 different portfolio books. But long story short, I wish I could find that. Huh, what I did with those. This is what happens when I clean everything up and I start to get organized. I lose everything.
Oh, yeah, dude, because you're so used to it being in that certain pile, right?
Right?
So like, I know where exactly what pile it is, but just let me go look for it. And then when you clean it
Right.
up, shit, it's in a different spot. Yeah. While we're
Ah,
waiting, oh,
I think
you got
they're
it.
in here.
Yeah.
Maybe? No. Rats. Nope. All right. Yeah, I'll have to dig them out, but I actually figured out a way to go through and do a almost like a raindrop pattern.
Yeah. Hey, Jason, I think we lost you on your visual on your camera.
Yeah, you went back to plaid.
There
Oh, there
go.
you are.
He's back from Plaid.
Yeah, I got to figure out a way to hack my digital camera so that it doesn't automatically shut off every half hour. But there was a way that like I started out by doing drops of different things, and then I would etch it for a little bit, pull it out of the tank, rinse it down, and then do a few other drops, etch it, rinse it. And it was like a 4-stage process, but it created this incredible multi-level kind of effect on a couple of little squares of brass that I have. And like, I was actually considering taking a brass machine frame in there to do like this acid etch pattern to
Yeah.
create this kind of like a weird raindrop effect on it.
Oh, yeah. Okay. That'd be killer. That'd be awesome to see. Like a crater kind of thing, like it's little pits and stuff.
Yeah, I
Nice.
was trying to find some of the prints that I made or some of the actual brass pieces that I etched, but I can't seem to find them anywhere. I'll have to look around and find them. But when I find them, I'll definitely send you a picture of them because they turned out really cool. It's like a multi-level effect. And it looks very, very organic in nature.
I can't wait to
So-
see it. It's awesome. It's cool.
Sort of got it to work. I don't know if you can see it. See it? Really cool.
Ah, cool.
There you go.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
I don't know how to get rid of all that little stuff from the carving, but it still looks, it's getting there. If I can clean it up, maybe.
I don't mind. I mean, I know where you're coming from. Like, you wanted it to be super clean, maybe. Is that what you're saying? But I don't
Yeah, I
mind.
don't mind
if
how either.
Yeah, they
Anyway.
look pretty cool.
I kind of like the effect it gave. You know what I mean? Gave
Yeah.
it some kind of texture in the background.
Yeah,
Okay.
for sure. Looks great. Are you
That
just
looks
using
really good, dude.
acrylic for
Yeah.
paper?
What's that?
Did you just use acrylic?
I'm using the Dick Blake,
Oh yeah,
Block printing.
Print.
I think.
And then I bought they're just standard printing paper. It's like really thin, bright paper.
Nice.
It's cool. Yeah. Still got it.
Yeah, good.
Hey, everything lines up. Looks good to me.
hmm
What'd you end
Cool.
up
Well, I'm
doing?
actually going to jump off, guys.
what?
Yeah, I've got to get rolling to the studio to get rolling for the day. So, Ricardo, as always, thank you for having me on, man. It's always a blast, always a pleasure. And we always have some great discussions. So,
Yeah, dude, I
thank you.
appreciate you showing up, man. Thanks a lot, Jason.
Hey, no problem at all for me, man.
Cool.
Have a good one, dude.
Take care, guys.
Peace.
Uh,
I think I'm gonna be jumping off here pretty soon too. I got an appointment that's coming up. I got to get ready for. Yeah, it was one way or another. We didn't draw too much, but it was awesome having Jason on here and everybody talking about what they got going on. I put some stuff in the Reinventing app under the community group. So if you guys want to draw off those, man, that'd be fun to see some stuff if you want to send it over. or post it up in the community group for us all to kind of share and talk about if you'd like. Yeah, I think if everybody wants to give a quick sign off, we'll call it a day. Let's go ahead and start with you, Joe.
Oh, I'm first. That's great.
Mhm.
Hi, I'm Joe McFarland. I work in a small shop in West Virginia called Mountain State Tattoos. You can find my work at mountainstatetattoos.com. And yeah, I like being on here and chatting and having fun. So appreciate you guys having me on.
Yeah, definitely. Good to have you.
Thank you. Everybody have a good day.
You too. Hello, Face.
Hey, I'm Faith. My Instagram is WYNN Color, Win Color. And I also have the same website, wincolor.com. I'm starting a free art education website for tattoo artists by tattoo artists, just with basic art education information that can be applied to tattoo work.
Rock and roll. Thanks for joining us. It's always a pleasure. Yeah, and my name is Ricardo Sturdivant. You can find me on Instagram at Candor Tattoo. Hit me up, send me a DM. I'm going to be finishing up some drawings and stuff like that. This one back here, especially. It's time to get him done. So, if you guys have any questions, or you want to talk about anything, or if there's anything you want us to cover next time, let us know, and we'll go over it. Lauren, always a pleasure. Thank you so much. Thank you everybody for tuning in, and have a good one. See you later.
Thank you.